Good day, my legalists and hexagons. Welcome to another episode of The Legalist. I'm Christy Teilove, your host, and on this channel, we cover all things crypto and legal, and of course, hex, because we believe in freedom of speech, movement, and assembly. So in our last video, we talked about DLT, distributed ledger technology, which is a term that we're going to come across a lot when analyzing legal documents dealing with crypto and the regulation of crypto. And with that understanding, in this episode, we're going to be looking at blockchain as a form of DLT. So without further ado, let's get started. So if we start with a brief recap of a DLT, we looked at the words distributed and ledger, and from that we can define it as a distributed record of transaction of assets or data in multiple places at the same time. And that's why we say it's distributed, because it's spread over multiple entities or locations. And ultimately, if I can just briefly sum up our last video, ultimately it differs from traditional databases because in that sense it now moves record keeping from a single authoritative location to a more decentralized system. And that is the primary benefit that we see of DLT. However, when what we discussed was that blockchain is only a form of DLT, it's only a form of this technology. So in this video, we're going to be looking more specifically at blockchain as a form of DLT and how it differs and is similar to DLT. So blockchain and DLT are not the same. And blockchain, as the word implies, is a chain of blocks. So we know that a DLT is a shared database or a record of data, and so is blockchain. However, where we start to see a difference is in the structure of blockchain. So in a blockchain, that database is shared by means of blocks that form a chain. And that is the structure. The structure in a blockchain is blocks of data. Okay. And those blocks are closed by a cryptographic signature, also known as a hash, and the next block begins with that same hash. So that also tells us about the sequence of the data and how it's stored. Now, that sequence that we see in blockchain that I've just described creates a seal, or we could even call it a scribe. And in this way, it verifies that there has been no manipulation in the data. So, if we look at the structure, we know that a blockchain is made of blocks that form a chain. Now, in the distributed ledger, data does not need to be represented by means of blocks. So that is what differentiates the blockchain. It's the structure. Also, the sequence is different because it's normally in a distributed ledger, there doesn't have to be a specific sequence. However, in the blockchain, that sequence is very important in making sure that there has been no manipulation or no fraud that's taken place. So that is a differentiating feature of the blockchain. What also sets blockchain apart is the proof of work. So distributed ledger doesn't need proof of work. But in order to make blockchain work, it's become a functionality of blockchain. And in that sense, it becomes a subset of distributed ledger, which even though it doesn't require proof of work, what proof of work has done is it's added functionality that we can see real life implementations of blockchain, such as finance, that we don't see in other applications of DLT, at least not at this stage of time. Also, because of the implementations and in real life scenarios of blockchain, there is usually a token economy. As I've just said, it's mainly we know DLT as blockchain because that has been our ultimate experience of the blockchain through Bitcoin and other cryptos as a token economy. However, it's not a requirement of the distributed ledger that there needs to be any currency on the network. So we can see the fundamental differences between distributed ledger and the blockchain. And we can see that blockchain is only a form of distributed ledger as a technology, and probably where we have seen the biggest real life implementations as opposed to just the distributed ledger on its own. So I know this was a very short video, but hopefully we can appreciate and understand now that actually DLT is a much broader spectrum than just blockchain on its own. And we can also appreciate that blockchain is a form of DLT, that they are not the same, but blockchain is premised on the technology of DLT. I hope you guys enjoy the video and enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll chat soon. Bye.